Hi, Purpose Partner. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose, a personal and spiritual development podcast for female entrepreneurs with a mission. We are your hosts, Brandie and Natalie.
We are founders of Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, where we guide women to build profitable businesses online through diversifying your income, using kingdom principles in marketing, and operating in a spirit of rest so that you can create kingdom impact.
After this episode, be sure to join our Purpose Partner Facebook community and get your copy of our Rise to Your Purpose devotional so we can continue to serve you as we partner together in our faith and business. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to another episode of Rise to Your Purpose. Again, this is Brandie Thomas, one of the founders of Victorious Entrepreneurs Rising, along with my sister Natalie Lawson, and we are wrapping up our 3-part series on wealth, stewarding wealth, building wealth, and really just using wealth as a tool for the kingdom. So today I want to be diving into tangible ways to steward wealth in your finances in your business for our last part of this 3-part series on wealth and money mindset. So I hope you enjoy. Again, feel free to reach out to me in the DMs. It's so much fun to have conversations with you guys after you've listened to a podcast episode and just, carry on the dialogue, because these are pretty quick episodes. So obviously there's definitely more depth to the conversation, but this is really just getting you into a new mindset, into the Bible, into the Word, and really working and operating from that perspective, that spirit-led perspective. So I hope this series has been beneficial for you, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I want to talk to you guys about tangible ways that you could steward wealth and finances in your business. So before we get into those 3 different ways that you can, tangible ways to steward your wealth and finances, I want to again go back to what are the kingdom principles around wealth and stewarding wealth and finances in your business. First one, obviously, is money is not your master. God is your master. You cannot serve both God and money. So we need to be seeking first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Then all these things will be added to us. So whatever that looks like, whatever all these things will be added to, whatever that looks like, right? So that's Matthew 6:24-33. So seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. And in verse 24, it talks about how we cannot serve both God and money. So that is like the very first kingdom principle that we need to understand when we are learning about wealth, talking about wealth, using wealth, right? Is that God is our master and he's the source of everything. So if you want to dive into this more, like chapter 11-12 in Proverbs is just so much full of wisdom on what it means to seek God first and his righteousness. So I took notes on a couple, just going through Proverbs chapter 11 and chapter 12 on what is righteousness, what is right side up living. So righteousness would include like honesty, integrity, humility, being wise, understanding. So like seek first to understand, good judgment, being kind-hearted, generous, disciplined, loving, noble character, caring for others, having a good work ethic, seeks wise counsel, healing with how you speak, with how you behave, and being diligent. So those are just some of the words that came up around righteousness in Proverbs chapter 11-12. I'm sure we could go on and on about different ways the Bible teaches us how to be righteous, but it all goes back to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these things will be added to you. So we don't need to be worrying about clothing, about our food, about paying for our bills. Like, right, if we're partnering with God in our faith and in our business, we need to seek him first, and then he's going to give us the direction and the guidance for what he's calling us to do. So again, in Proverbs 11, verse 28 and verse 30, it says, whoever trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. So as kingdompreneurs, we should be seeking God first, and we should be looking for ways that we can create kingdom impact. And yes, I've been talking about wealth this week because wealth is one way that we can create impact for the kingdom. And it may be one way that God is calling you to create wealth for the kingdom, or sorry, to create impact for the kingdom through the wealth he's giving you, through your business. But our trust is not in God. Our trust is in God. Our trust is not in our wealth, right? So that is like a core value that we need to be owning, claiming, walking in, living in, is that we need to trust God, seek him first, and then trust that he's going to be the provider for the vision that he's placed in your heart. So the blessings of the Lord bring wealth, and he adds no trouble to it. So I do believe like he has these promises. When we're seeking him first, he is our provider. He's our protector. He's our comforter. He's going to take care of you. So again, whatever the vision he's placed on your heart, he's going to give you the provision for that. So we need to continually just seek him and his wisdom and his ways, and acting with right side up living. So walking in righteousness. And then Proverbs 16:3, I love this verse. It's behind me on the wall. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. So again, focusing on God for where he's calling you in your life and business, how he's calling you to use your finances, and steward the wealth that he's giving you. So I just wanted to make sure that of all the trainings, that if you've watched any of my trainings or if you missed them, these are the core principles that we need to be standing on before we even really get into wealth. We have to truly die to our flesh, die to the spirit of mammon, which is that stronghold that money can have over you, where it is dictating what you do, who you are, where you go, versus God dictating what you do with your money. So are you asking your money, or are you asking your God what to do with your money? So that's what the heart we want to get. If we're going to be kingdompreneurs and we're pursuing God, we're pursuing a business to be for him and to grow the kingdom in the way he's calling us to grow the kingdom, then that's like the heart posture we want, that he exemplifies for us, I believe, in the Bible, from what I've studied. So here's some starting ideas for just how to steward your wealth. If you're new to the business industry, or maybe you've been in it a while, but you haven't really been good at like stewarding the wealth of your business, here's some just basic principles, starting ideas, foundational, tangible steps that you can take to start getting to be more of a good steward of your wealth and your finances that are coming in. So again, we're seeking God first, and he's going to guide you on how you're supposed to really manage your wealth. But he does lay out in the Bible, there are specific ways to give, to invest, and to live. So with the wealth that he gives us. So here are some just basic starting guidelines that I have found and I use personally. And, like one day, like I would love if it's God will to be able to give 90% and live on 10%, but he does give us some foundational principles to give, invest, and live on the rest. So, and I'm going to drop a resource too. There's an article that I was reading earlier today that was like really good at explaining like your first fruits versus tithes, because they are slightly different. So I'll drop that link to the article, and it's coming from like a Jewish perspective, which is where a lot of the financial strategies and examples are given more in the Old Testament. And that's why we probably see the Jewish community being a more wealthy community, because they have these like basic financial principles. So the first principle, the first strategy, if you will, or guideline, is we should be giving. So we should be giving our first fruits. And I believe we do this because, one, it just breaks the stronghold that money can have on us. If we're holding on so tight to our money and our finances that we're afraid to give the first fruits of our income back to God, then that's definitely a sign that you need to like check yourself, right? That means we need to do a heart check. Like if you're struggling to give over your first fruits, why is that? Is there a lack of trust in the relationship with you and God? What's causing that separation from you actually being able to willingly, with a heart of like, thank you, like a heart of gratitude, not a heart of I'm doing this so that I hope God blesses me, but a heart of like, I'm so grateful for just what God has given me in this season, how he continues to provide for me, whatever that looks like. So we should be giving our first fruits, and you can read more about that in Proverbs 3:9. And I also believe that we should pray around our giving, like before we even give, like pray Maybe there's a specific amount he wants you to give to. I know there's standards of like 10% tithing and 2.5% of our first fruits. And again, that article breaks down different verses of where you can find that. There's like so many verses in the Old Testament. But just to sum up giving, right? So we should be giving our first fruits, one, because we're breaking the spirit of mammon, where money doesn't have power over us. God is our ultimate master. So we're giving our first fruits and we're giving tithes. And then you can even give offerings, which is above and beyond your tithes and your first fruit. Then once you've given, invest. There is actually a talk about a self-tithe. So we're investing, and you can tangible ways to do this in this life that we're in right now. Investing in your savings account, investing in personal and professional development, investing in paying off debt if you have it. So I do believe like we should be free of debt. I'm not personally free of debt. That is also a goal of mine of how I'm stewarding my wealth to pay off my debt. So again, just continuously breaking away any strongholds, any change that money has on me, because I want God to be my ultimate master. So continuously paying off any debt that I may have, and also continuously investing in my personal and professional development, because the more we can grow and learn and become the person God's calling us to be and step into that, the more impact that we can have. So, and we also want to create a seed for him to also just bless, right? So investing, so give your first fruits, give your tithes, give your offering, invest in savings, invest in personal development and growth and paying off debt, invest in things that like God can continue to rain down on, and then live on the rest. So paying your bills, food, whatever you need to live on, then those are just like 3 basic principles that God has called us of how to steward our wealth. So they're pretty simple. It's quick, short for Friday, but I think this will help just wrap up the conversation of wealth that I've been having with you this week. If you've been able to watch my live from Tuesday, or have been in any other conversations with me. So I just wanted to reiterate, like, God is our master. We need to seek him first above all. And then he's going to give us, seek him and his righteousness. So seek that right side up living. And then he'll provide for us. He's going to give you the provision for your vision. So go into prayer. If you're not sure what your vision is, go into prayer and just ask him, God, what is the vision you have for my life, for my business, for the money that's coming in? How do you want me to steward that? Are there different ministries that I'm supposed to be giving to? Is there a specific church I'm supposed to be giving to? How should I be investing that self-tithe? Is it in personal development? Is it in paying off debt? Is it in saving for this season? And then what is that percentage to live on the rest? And are there places where maybe you need to cut back on things so you can give more? So those are just some heart checks for you, some tangible takeaways around stewarding your wealth and your finances. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out or drop them in the comments. If you want to discuss more, happy to have a conversation with you. But I just want to, like, the whole heart behind this wealth conversation is that as entrepreneurs, we should be having profitable businesses. We should be managing our money wisely so that we have the ability to give. We have the ability to continuously invest and becoming better versions of ourselves. And yes, that we should be able to provide for our family as well. So I think these are all kingdom principles and strategies that we can use to further the kingdom. Obviously, wealth is one way to create kingdom impact. Next week, I'll probably talk about serving and operating in the rest more. But I think it's great that we're having a conversation around wealth and finances, because a poverty mindset is just as dangerous as a wealth mindset that's obsessed with wealth. So we need to, again, get into the mind of Christ, come into that right side up living, and walk in the examples that God has laid out for us. So I know we're not perfect and we're all going to fall short of the glory, but if we can at least have a heart for God and pursue him and pursue his ways, then maybe that's just more ways that I think God can open the door to help other people. So hopefully this makes sense to you. I just pray blessing and favor over you. I pray a hedge of protection on you and your family. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend and that you do take some time to rest. It's my birthday weekend. My birthday's on Monday, so I'm gonna go out. That's why I actually have makeup on today and my hair's kind of done. So we're gonna go out to a Japanese restaurant tonight with my family. So I'm looking forward to that. But I hope you guys have a great weekend and I will see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We would love to hear from you. So please share your takeaways by tagging @LiveVictorious over on Instagram and leave a review.
This will help us get more visibility and reach more women like you for the kingdom. We appreciate you and are praying for you as you shine your light in the business world and rise to your purpose.